I'm Daniella Levine, Cava. I'm County Commissioner, Miami-Dade District 8. I've served for 5 years. I was elected first in 2014 and re-elected August of 2018. Now I'm running to be Mayor of Miami-Dade County because there is so much to be done. We have such critical issues. We have great opportunities and assets, and I'm ready to take it on. I'm a new politician. I ran for office the first time when I was age 59, and now I'm 64, so I'm kind of the new kid on the block when it comes for this mayor's race, because all the others, major candidates, have been longtime politicians. So I've come to this after a lifetime of service. I've been in the community, serving children and families and building stronger communities for 38 years in Miami-Dade County, and many, many more before that. My life has been dedicated to public service. I thought that working outside of government and pressing government to do the right thing was my best calling. And I was very proud to start a fabulous nonprofit organization called Catalyst Miami, now approaching its 25th year. But there was an opportunity, and I saw that I needed to go inside government to make the changes inside government, because I was training people to be advocates, to speak up in public settings, but people were not listening. So I needed to be the kind of politician to go inside and welcome the community, to have a voice and to be at the table. My background is law and social work. I have degrees in both. I studied psychology with an emphasis on children in college. Never ran for anything except when I was in college. I was my student council president. And again, I came into public office because people were not getting what they deserve and need from government, and I felt I needed to be the change. So I'm very proud of my 5 years of service. I feel that I've been able to accomplish a lot, but again, we're at a crossroads in Miami-Dade County. There is so much to be done. Climate change and sea level rise literally threaten to wipe us off the map. Affordability is the worst in the nation in terms of the gap between the very high cost of living and the relatively low salaries. So people cannot get by. They're working multiple jobs. They're not home with their family. They're not having quality of life. And then crippling traffic. That is the unifier across our county. Everybody bemoans the traffic situation. We have overdeveloped without the proper infrastructure, and I am doubling down on our commitment to building world-class public transit. We cannot have an inferior system and expect people to get to work on time, get to school on time, anything that people want to do. They cannot depend, unfortunately, consistently on our public transit system. So we're not going to solve this problem by building more roadways. We are in a very narrow space of land between the ocean and the Everglades. We must increase density along our transportation corridors, improve that transit so that it's reliable, that it's frequent, and that people can have confidence that they will get where they're needing to go. Violence. Many of our neighborhoods are struggling, and all of us are affected by wanton gun violence. Children being killed by drive-by shooters. They're in the range of somebody's fire. Gangs fighting it out on the streets. There are alternatives, and they start with embracing all our children and making sure that they're ready for school, that they're supported to be as productive and successful as they can possibly be, supporting their families, supporting their communities. That's been my life's work, children and families. I know what needs to be done, and I am dedicated to not waiting until another person is shot, and making sure that we give our children, our families, our neighborhoods what they need to prevent future violence. So the thing that keeps me up at night is the future of our environment, and particularly our water, because water is life. And what would Miami-Dade County be without clean water? Right now, we are seeing the catastrophe of constant leakage from our antiquated sewer system. We're seeing high levels of bacteria on our beach, closing those beaches down frequently. We are seeing the die-off of seagrass in our bay. That is incubator for our fishing industry and our recreational sports. So our economy, our tourism, our health, and our quality of life are all at risk. And sea level rise, which is affecting us here more than most places because the Gulf Stream is slowing down, so the seas are rising even faster here, is pushing salt water in towards our water supply, our fresh water supply, which is the Biscayne Aquifer. It's a fresh water flow under the Everglades, through the Everglades. And as the seas rise, the salt water from the sea is pushing up against that barrier and compromising our fresh water. We've already lost some of our well fields. We already have a consent decree with FPL to retract saltwater plumes that have come from the cooling canals, becoming hypersalinated and then leaking salt. So every day we're struggling with protecting our water, our drinking water, our beach water, our fishing waters, and we're not doing enough. Yes, we're under a federal watch to repair the sewer system, but we're moving too slowly. So I've been pushing that we need to move faster. We need to identify those most vulnerable spots and prioritize those. We need to talk to the community about what they can do. We've got fertilizer runoff. We've got septic runoff. We have numerous things that are polluting our bay and our ocean waters, and you know, they have to do with human impacts. So we all need to be part of the solution. I am the water warrior, and I am going to make sure that we fight back and we take charge of our water system. So most people are aware that we have a housing crisis in this community. And while this is true nationwide, we're particularly affected here because our home prices have skyrocketed thanks to foreign investment, a cash economy. Many things drive the prices up and drive our residents out. We're losing people. We're losing young professionals. They cannot afford to live in the area. They want to be here. We have a high college graduation rate, but the jobs don't pay enough to pay those high costs, and many families are working around the clock, multiple jobs, just to get by. So if you have to pay more than 50% of your income on housing, you are what's called extremely housing burdened. And we have the highest percentage in the country of renters that are extremely housing burdened, and a very small supply, inadequate supply of rental housing. So we have to pull out all the stops on this. We need to bring everyone to the table. The employers know this is a problem. The developers know it's a problem. The residents surely know, and all the governments know, all the government agencies. So we're going to sit at the table. We're going to see who can contribute what. We need to have a higher percentage of reserved housing for low, moderate income individuals, our workforce, our teachers, our firefighters, our police, etc. And we need to make sure that the subsidies that are available really benefit those most in need. And you know, when people are developing in the luxury market, they have to contribute as well. So we're looking at all angles, because truly, if we don't solve this housing problem, our economy will be on the ropes. We're a country of immigrants. We are certainly a county of immigrants. We are the most diverse in the country, the most foreign-born, and that is part of our unique charm. And everybody wants to be here because of our diversity, and we've always given the welcome, el bienvenido, a todos. So we need to continue that. That is our special charm, our special sauce, and we want to support the people that have come to this country and to our community. So unfortunately, some of the federal laws and federal policies are interfering with that warm welcome. So I opposed having our county serve as immigration officials. I opposed holding people just until ICE could come pick them up. We don't need to mix up our local police with the federal immigration law and jobs. those are important functions. We need to protect our borders and promote legal immigration, but we also need to make sure that our people are not scared of reporting to the police, of interacting when they're a victim or a witness to a crime. So that will be part of my program, to make sure that we let people know that we are not here to serve as immigration police. We are here to protect them in their communities, and our law enforcement is ready to do that job. Well, I heard a great quote: diversity is a fact, but inclusion is a choice. And one of the great things about this community is we are so inclusive, not only of all the races and nationalities and creeds, but also of all gender and all choices, identity choices. So that is something that is very important to me. My own daughter told me, "Mom, fix it," because she was adopting with her wife a baby, and she wanted to be sure that things were okay in Florida. So I'm really proud to have been part of the movement that makes sure that love is love, and we welcome people to love the people in their lives. So at the end of the day, I think my human rights record speaks for itself. I am an advocate of equality and equity across the board. I was really delighted to bring, as one of the first pieces of legislation, the adoption of the UN Convention to End Discrimination Against Women in all forms. Our country did not see fit to adopt it. All the rest of the modern world did, but cities around the country have done so, and we are the first and only county to adopt that convention. The result has been electrifying. We have ensured equal pay for women on county contracts. We've revised the sex harassment policy. We are working on improving women's access to county contracts, and much more. So I'm super excited to be able to work with the women's rights community to bring equality of pay. And you know, once you start on that path of unequal pay, which is about 87 cents on the dollar for women for the equivalent job that men make, it continues for a lifetime. It continues into retirement with Social Security benefits. And for African American women, it's only 63 cents on the dollar that a white man makes. So not acceptable. We have to change that. At the County Commission, we don't get a say in what goes on inside the classroom, but we have an important role to play in preparing children for school readiness and making sure they have what they need in their communities to be able to be educated and have opportunity, and on the back end to make sure that there are pathways to good careers. I've had the opportunity to speak with our superintendent about some of these ideas, and I am ready to partner to the hilt with our school system so that together we make sure we leave no child behind, truly, and that we have clear pathways to good jobs. And there are many, and we're not coordinated. So this is part of what I'm looking forward to doing, partnering. It's all about collaboration. It's all about looking at this community as a whole and seeing how everybody can play nice together to get it done for our community. In 2014, I won my first race because of an amazing coalition that came together. Social justice, economic justice, labor rights groups, women's rights groups, LGBTQ groups, environmental activists. Those were the people that came together and got me elected. And that is how I'm going to be moving forward to the mayor's office. Please join me. You will be the wind beneath my wings, catapulting all of us into a new future for Miami-Dade County. It will be so very different. It will be the people, not just at the table, but at the head table. Please, let's get this done. Thank you. In 2020, we are going to make history right here in Miami-Dade County. This will be the first time anyone qualifies by petition. 1% of the electorate will be signing petition to put me on the ballot. We're more than a third of the way to our goal of 14,000 plus. And I will also be the first woman mayor. Now, you know, it is the year of the woman, and I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to step up.